You guys are watching NFL Daily, and we are almost to 250,000 subscribers. An awesome milestone at Chat Sports is just around the horizon. But if you haven't already subscribed, not sure what you guys are waiting for. Videos coming out multiple times a day on the NFL and also the NBA. So if you want daily videos and have some fun along the way, hit that big red button and subscribe. Let's dive into the Julio Jones trade rumors because, you know, what else would we be talking about here to get things going? There is an ESPN report that said the Falcons have a first-round pick and have already been offered a first-round pick. That's been disputed by other outlets, including Pro Football Talk, and frankly, I'm inclined to believe the Falcons don't have a true first-round pick on the table. Maybe there's the middle ground of both are correct, where it was a first-round pick in exchange for Julio and another pick, like a second or third coming back to whatever team offered the first-rounder. It also seems like there's a new team in the mix every single day. And also, as I've said before, it might be that Julio Jones also wants a new contract, which adds more layers of complexity to a rather surprisingly quiet market for one of the best receivers in the NFL. Now, of late, there have been some more teams linked to Julio, some new, some not so new. Patriots, Titans, and Ravens have seemingly always been in the mix as a Julio Jones destination. And then two intriguing ones. The LA Rams, with no draft picks and no money, got linked, and then also apparently already out of it, so felt like more of a leverage play than anything. And also the Seattle Seahawks, which I find fascinating because they have DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and spent a second-round pick on Dwayne Eskridge. So I'm not entirely sure how that all works out together, but they've all been linked, at least recently. Now, here are the betting odds right now around Julio Jones. The Patriots and Titans are the co-favorites right now at plus 200. The Colts there at plus 600. Ravens and San Francisco. Now, I was kind of lukewarm on the on the Niners possibility when I thought there was a chance that Julio went for more than just a second-round pick. If it ends up only being a second-rounder, which Peter King says the Falcons would take that today, the Niners are in the mix there at least. Then some long shots here. Green Bay, which would make sense to keep Aaron Rodgers happy, but they don't like receivers, it seems. The Cowboys are not going to happen. The Raiders are actually a decent dark horse there at plus 1,200. Cardinals and then Browns, which we'll get to hear more in depth in a little bit. I think part of the reason why the market for Julio is not what everyone watching, myself included, would anticipate it normally being is that Julio is on the wrong side of 30. He only played in 9 games this past year. And the players who have been dealt for a first-round pick in recent years, they're not Julio's age. He'd be 5 years older than anyone dealt for a first-round pick. So because of that, I think the age, the injury stuff, it's driven down what you would normally anticipate, plus the contract situation, what you would normally anticipate a player who's Julio Jones going for. So we will see exactly what the Falcons end up getting. I do think they trade him. Everything right now kind of seems like leaks from Julio's side trying to get out of there, and also leaks from the Falcons side trying to drive up the bidding war and the cost in the end. So make your predictions for me right now in the comment section. Where will Julio Jones be traded? If you get the ad break here on YouTube, I want you guys to scroll on down and get your votes in. Where will Julio Jones be traded? Let's talk Julio Jones and the Cleveland Browns now. Now, previously, the Browns had been speculatively linked as a potential destination for Julio Jones. They got the money. They can make it work. They could use another big-time receiver. You could move Odell Beckham and or Jarvis Landry. However, the Cleveland Plain Dealer has reported the Browns are not interested in adding Julio, and they have no desire to pick him up. Instead, they're going to roll with Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry. Now, if I were the Browns, regardless of whether or not I had interest in Julio Jones, that is what I would leak. That would be my statement to the media, like, yeah, we're good there. Because worst case scenario is you let it get out that you want Julio Jones, and then you don't, and then OBJ and Jarvis sitting there like, what are we, chopped liver? Now, adding Julio Jones would take that Browns offense, if he's fully healthy, to another level. Even in just 9 games last year, he had 771 yards, all right? 15.1 was his average there in the end, and he had 3 touchdowns. Julio, when healthy, I think is still a number 1 receiver. Like, I think very clearly is the case there. The issue for Cleveland is they've committed financially to Odell Beckham and to Jarvis Landry. And in an offense that likes to use multiple tight ends and run the football a lot and not throw it nearly as often, the exact roles and usage, if you were to add Julio to that roster, isn't as clear as a more pass-happy organization that wants to use 3 receivers, 65, 70% of the time. So because of that, things are a little bit dicey in terms of how you would make it work. Now, I am of the mindset that probably Jarvis Landry more so than Odell Beckham, I would be prepared to part with one of those players to help me make room for Julio Jones on this roster. You saw what Julio Jones did in his limited sample size last year of just the 9 games. Compare that, however, with 67 catches for 942 yards. So in a much 16-game average here, Odell's putting up 942 yards. In 9 games last year, Julio had 771. Compared to Jarvis Landry, over a 15-game sample size last year, 840. Again, yes, the Falcons do throw it a little bit more, but I think that only the most homerish of Browns fans would be of the mindset of, hey, even though Landry's a great locker room guy, he's definitely better than Julio Jones. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. So because of that, if I were the Browns, I would have interest in exploring the market for Julio Jones. So knowing that allegedly the Browns aren't going to do it, you can still get your votes in as to what you guys would rather do. Would you trade Landry and or Odell Beckham to go out and acquire Julio Jones? Get your votes in for me. Type D for deal or type in N for no deal. Speaking of the Browns, congratulations, Browns fans. You and the rest of the NFL have this awesome t-shirt and hat combo pack on sale right now for $29.99. That is available at chatsports.com/NFL combo. Again, that link right there at the bottom of your screen. We can scroll through some of the other hat and t-shirt combos out there, but it is a fantastic deal. It's 40% off right now. Typically, these run for $50. They're even cheaper, though, right now, and I don't know how long they'll be on sale for. It's chatsports.com/NFL combo. Link is right there, so check the comment section. Check the description as well. I'll make sure that link gets put in there. So all you guys have to do is click and go shop and find yourself some awesome gear today. To the Green Bay Packers now, and Aaron Rodgers. We check in as to what's going on amid his apparent unhappiness with the organization. The Athletic reported this earlier today, on Monday, that GM Brian Gutekunst is staying firm on his stance that he's not going to trade Aaron Rodgers, even though once June 1st comes and goes, the Packers can save just under $16.1 million by trading him. Rodgers, of course, was not at OTA, spending time with his fiancée and also fellow actor Miles Teller down there in Hawaii, which is fine. It's OTAs. Rodgers doesn't need OTAs. Now, he doesn't have to actually report anywhere until minicamp gets going underway next week on June 8th. And then we will see exactly where things sit with Rodgers and with Green Bay. I don't think that Green Bay thinks that the relationship isn't salvageable right now. And in general, especially in the modern day NFL, you want to keep your quarterback happy, especially even at his advanced age. Aaron Rodgers just did this, where he was completed over 70% of his passes, threw for over 4,000 yards, an obscene 48 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. His QBR was 84.3. Rodgers was absolutely unbelievable this past year. So if I'm Green Bay, I'm doing everything I can to keep my star quarterback happy. Unfortunately for the Packers, part of the reason why they're at where they're at was the drafting of Jordan Love, and I think there is some maybe disillusionment from Rodgers' standpoint of where he feels he's being viewed by the organization. It could get a little bit dicey. We will see what ends up happening closer to minicamp. once that gets going. If Rodgers doesn't show up for that when he is obligated to do so, even though he did pass on a $500,000 bonus by skipping OTAs, if he's not there by June 8th, oh boy, things could get bad in Green Bay. Now, there are some week 1 odds out there in terms of what team Aaron Rodgers would play for. I'm going to say some rather surprising ones in terms of what these are. Now, very clearly a 2-team race, maybe 2.5 there. Green Bay minus 167, the betting favorite still. Denver is plus 140. Nobody else on this list is even close. It is a runaway. The Raiders plus 1,000, they're third. Then 3 teams tied at plus 200. The Saints, which I could get. The Niners, they just drafted Trey Lance. It makes no sense for them. Washington at plus 2,000, which under the radar, I think would be a great addition for the football team. If they got Rodgers, they would be, if not the minimum betting favorite in the NFC East, if not the entire NFC. Carolina, Cleveland have some options at quarterback. Same with the Dolphins, plus 2,500. Patriots don't make that much sense to me, but I think Washington, and I think I'll mention the Giants as a dark horse in there too, make more sense than some of those other teams on that list. So what do you guys think? What is the percent chance that Green Bay trades Aaron Rodgers before the season? Is it 0, 50, 25? Make your predictions for me right now in the comment section. What do you think will end up happening with Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay? Let's talk Tim Tebow because, hey, look, his jersey is incredibly popular, and it's a big deal around the NFL, even though I know how some of you guys feel. Now, ESPN's Diana Rossini mentioned this recently, that people around the league think Urban Meyer added Tim Tebow to fill a Taysom Hill type of role. Not just to be a tight end, but to play that kind of hybrid role as a quarterback, wildcat type of guy. Here's what she had to say. Quote, "There are people in camp right now who strongly believe the reason why Urban Meyer brought in Tebow is not to play tight end, but to actually use him in that utility role, that Taysom Hill role that we see Sean Payton use in New Orleans." In terms of comparing the two, we always talk about on the show how much Sean Payton loves Taysom Hill. It's been very obvious over the years. That same kind of love is what Tim Tebow and Urban Meyer have between each other. It could be a very similar situation, but in terms of football, this is something we could be seeing. Now, welcome to life in 2021, I guess, right? This is a guy who hasn't played football since 2012. And you who have watched the show for a long time know how I feel about Taysom Hill. I don't think he's a good football player, at least a good quarterback. He's fun as that dual threat, like special teams tight end, emergency quarterback, special teams guy, which sure, Tebow could be the tight end special teams guy, except over his career, we have to accept a universal truth, okay? That Tim Tebow, as an NFL quarterback, is bad. Like there's no way around. And if you love Tebow the person, I get that. That is completely understandable. But Tim Tebow, the drop back and throw it guy, is bad. He's just not good. The numbers are bad. Now, he does offer you some running value. That's absolutely fair there. And maybe some Tebow truthers will get mad at me for this, but I stand by it because I'm right. If the Jags actually sign Tim Tebow with the plan of making him into this Taysom Hill wildcat quarterback in which they give him actual quarterback snaps and take Trevor Lawrence off the field to play 33-year-old bad quarterback who hasn't played football since 2012 in a real game, Tim Tebow, that is dumb. That is the stupidest thing you could possibly do. You have your franchise quarterback who, like all young quarterbacks, will need some adjustment and acclimation time. So the idea of taking Trevor Lawrence off the field for Tim Tebow is stupid. And in fact, it's so dumb, I don't believe it's real. I think that is the guessing of other NFL types who are like, yeah, Urban, Tebow, Hill, it's funny, get it? There's no way the Jags could actually justify doing that, because it would be one of the worst football moves I've seen in quite some time. Ever since, Bill O'Brien traded away DeAndre Hopkins for next to nothing.